But thank you, Leslie, for being with me today. And we're going to do like a little brief deep dive into the academic planner. So
I am so excited to be here with you, Miss Kate. I think you're fabulous. So everyone, we are going to talk about these, and I love being here with you. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, I mean, for someone who doesn't know Leslie, I recommend your product, your website, everything. Order Out of Chaos. It's orderoochaos.com. I recommend to my clients, especially those with students, but I think the academic planners, and we'll talk about this at the end, we'll look at it, but this is your patented academic planner that helps students see time, which is great. But I also think it's a great thing to use. There are hacks you can use it if you're not a student too.
So I mean, it's so funny you said that. So we are, I don't know, saying, mantra, all of those things is that you need to be able to see time in order to learn how to manage it. And that begins and ends with that. And we created these academic planners, and what we have found over the years, especially you have the small one with you.
I have both.
You have both. That adults really love the small one because it gives you all day planning and you can customize it. We have it as subjects, but a lot of people use it for just different areas of their life, whether it's work, kids, personal. So the joke is, and I'm there, I'm a truth teller, is everyone on my team uses our planners as their own.
Oh, that's
planners.
great.
Isn't that funny? And we didn't set out to do that, but I think it's the customizable, and I think it's seeing your time that speaks to everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so. And I think it's great. I mean, I know I'm super digital. Everybody loves to be digital, but especially for kids and for learning, the act of writing things down helps create memory and solidifies what you're doing. Well, so what do you think about that?
There's actually a science. So, I'm so not a science girl. That's not my thing. But the fun fact, and we teach this in our classes, is that the brain and the body were born out of the same cell. Believe it or not, that's the only science I'm going to tell you. That the brain, So I don't know if you remember, I'm probably dating myself, but there used to be necklaces that said best friends, and they were two halves, and you wore one and you wore one. So
my girls had those.
Right. So did I. Oh, okay, I did. And we say that the brain and the body are BFFs. They are like those two necklaces as one. So that's why when you write something, it goes right to the brain, because it actually is the same cell connecting. That is scientifically proven that when you write something down, it literally commits it to memory.
And it's not typing is not the same act.
No.
Or like pressing buttons with your thumbs is not the same act as forming the letters with your hand. It's a brain body connection that's different.
It has to be a brain body connection. And there is literally, I always say, I think of like a wall of like, that is when you type something, it's like putting up a 6-foot, heavy concrete wall that separates the brain and the body between you. You do not get the same effect.
Okay.
And what we're seeing, just one other I like fun facts. It's just.
Yeah, I love statistics.
Planners are paper planners, I should say, are growing. Like every year they grow exponentially. But the biggest use of academic planners are actually college age students.
Yeah, I believe it. They have a lot to juggle. They've got all the different classes, often work, and other, sports, all kinds of things to juggle. And they're all on their own. You don't have, it's not like when you're in high school and mom and dad have you back. You're out there on your own.
Right.
So do you want to talk about should we go through the schedule and the planner and look at different parts that we have?
Let's just highlight. We don't need to, I'm not going to, but I'll tell you what makes it, here's how I'm going to say it. I'm going to tell you what makes it special.
Okay.
What makes it different? I shouldn't say it is special, but I'll explain what makes it different. And I'm also going to tell you, I think the number one question we get asked all the time is, how do we get buy-in? So I'm going to give you a few of our trade secrets, so to speak. So
that's good.
Basically, number one, what makes it special, if you can see this, is that this is your subject tab. This is where you put your subjects. And then these are the weekly planner pages. And if you see, they're cut smaller purposely. I guess I should have said this. Our planners are products designed literally with students in mind. They were created with students for students. We don't make any changes unless our focus group of students see them.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest things students said is those pre-printed planners that give them subjects they don't even take was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or the act of having to write their subjects over and over again was leading to forgetfulness and missing
Right. You could miss one.
everything.
Or
So what makes this super unique is not only do they only have to write them once, and yes, we do have, you can put if you switch subjects mid-year, you can put a nice white label over it. So it's clean, so you don't have to buy another planner. But the other thing we did is a lot of our students fold their planners, right?
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? On the other side, we did the same thing. We gave you a second subject tab because the I goes here. Because again, when the student would fold it, and if there was no subject tab, they would forget which subjects came first. So that's what I say special number one.
Okay.
If you also notice that there is, I hope you can see it, that the the boxes are shaded, and within the boxes there are lines. And that was super important to our students. When I originally designed it, did not do that. They asked for that because automatically by doing it, you see how your we call it cubby sizing versus shelves. They're cubbies versus shelves. What it does is it put parameters around the spaces and really lets your eye zone in on the different spaces. Whereas most students say if it's one big open space, they miss everything.
Got it.
Interesting. Yep. You would never think.
So it's helping lead their eye to the things that are important that they are not, that they don't want to forget.
And they can separate it out. I can see math, I can see social studies, I can see Monday, I can see Tuesday, but that also helps them be less overwhelmed. When you have just one big space, what do I do first? What's for what class? I'm so overwhelmed, and we all know when we're overwhelmed, we basically shut down and we're done. Put a fork in us. We're done. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the thing that really makes it, I would say, different and patented and all of that is you cannot have, I say they're called planners for a reason. They're not to-doers, they're planners. You have to be able to plan your time.
This is the best part, what you're getting to. I think this is what I think makes it
the best for last.
Right.
But is you need to be able, true time management is being able to marry what you have to do with when you have time to do it.
Yeah.
You can't just have this. This would just be a to-do list. Students need to be able to, actually all of us need to be able to see their time. So what happens, and I'm actually going to show it to you on a, there, I think this is our user guide, so you can see it.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Right.
What happens
so now we can see.
When you write in what you have going on, whether it's dance class, soccer, tutoring, whatever it is, what happens is all of a sudden open blocks of time, again, you're able to see it. So it gives the student that visual and visible way of saying, okay, my Monday is really packed, but look at or my Tuesday is really packed, but look at my Wednesday. I have so much open available time. I can plan on getting my social studies assignment done then.
Right. And I think as a parent too, when I'm talking to parents too, it's important to plan to help your kid learn how to do this. And also, if they're still living at home with you, they're going to be navigating the family schedule too.
Exactly.
So it's not just their stuff that needs to go on there, but if, it's grandma's 90th birthday party some night.
Right.
So maybe set a time each week, like maybe Friday afternoon, they come home from school. Okay, let's go over it. What's happening this weekend? What's happening next? And get the family stuff onto that schedule too.
100%. And what I love about you saying that is, well, that's one of our, I hate the word hack, but that's one of the ways we do get buy-in is how we describe it to kids is you're leveling the playing field. That you're doing this. You're not just saying, hey, I want to see your planner and why have you not written certain things in it? You're saying, hey, we're coming together. I need to know what you have on your plate. You need to know what I have on mine. So let's sit down and dump everything in. And when we do that, we find that kids are way more like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. I need to know that grandma's coming, or I need to know that we're going away on Friday for the weekend. So I have a paper due Monday. I guess I'm not writing it.
Right.
Or I need you're not around to pick me up because you have a meeting, whatever it is. It allows more buy-in when the playing fields are equal between.
That's right. And I think it just allows them that maturity of taking ownership of their schedule. One of the things, I mean, I run our family schedule off of a Google Calendar, shared Google Calendar that's all color coded. But what I would do with my daughters, take that, because kids don't see that. They see that, and that's like, they don't look at that. They don't think about it. They don't have that brain-body connection that they've written it down. So that's fine if that works for the family, whatever family calendar mom and dad use to schedule things, but go over that with the student and have them with the child that they need to write it themselves in their planner.
100%. And all you're doing is scaffolding, and that's fine. But the other piece of it is we are seeing more and more teachers also saying, here's an assignment. I'm going to give that to you on Monday. You figure out, because this is really true time management. Unfortunately, what happens sometimes is a teacher says, okay, here's your assignment for Monday, it's due Tuesday. And if that student has, let's say, a practice till 9 p.m. or has competing assignments, that's where we see the overwhelm and the stress. But if I'm a teacher and I give you your assignment on Monday and say, it's due Thursday, you figure out when you can get it done. I have plenty of students who say, my Monday is jam-packed, but I have nothing going on Tuesday. So I'm just going to save my math packet for then. And not only are I like to say you're underwhelming the overwhelm, but you're also allowing the student to really learn true time management. So
exactly. And it's also going to give them that chance to, instead of I think my kids' instincts would have been, oh, it's due Thursday, I'll do it Wednesday night.
Right.
But if you've got the planner and you're seeing your time, you might see, no, there's, whatever it is, a competition on Wednesday night. I'm not gonna have any time.
Right. So we use the word. So one of the questions that we use a lot, and again, this helps really for that whole planning portion of the brain, is what's your plan?
Yeah.
So listen, I'm a parent. We're all good parents, but a lot of us as parents always say, what do you have to do? Right. That's the question. What do you have to do? And to me, when you ask that question, basically what you're just asking your student to do is recite a to-do list. There's no planning involved. It's what do you have to do? I have to do my math. I have to finish my bio lab. I'm just making things up right now. We're in the heat of the summer. But when you ask your child, what's your plan on getting that assignment? What's your plan on getting your Friday, studying for your test on Friday when you don't get home till 9 o'clock on Thursday? Now you're switching how they're looking at what it is. You're not asking what to do. You're really asking, when are you going to have the time to do it?
That's great. So, and also I like that what's your plan is, it puts the onus on them to say, like, you've got ownership. It's not my plan. I'm not telling you how to do this, telling you what you have to do. I'm asking you because I think you have the capability to make a plan and follow it through. So
it does a lot. I agree with you on all of that. It does a lot too. What it also allows you to, we call it future awareness. We need to get kids living not outside of the now. So kind of like saying, what's your plan to do? You're right. They're stretching their thinking, but the onus is on them. I love it because it's, for lack of a better way of saying it, it's not nudgy.
Yeah.
I'm going to use all those words. It's not nudgy. It's not nagging. It's not condescending. I mean, I have older kids. My kids are flown and grown. I still ask my kids. Like, my son was like, what's your plan? Like, literally, like he was going to work and he said, oh, I have to go food shop. And I'm like, well, what's your plan on getting he likes to meal prep before, on Sunday nights. I'm like, well, what's your meal plan to do? And he's like, oh, you're right. Maybe what I'll do is order my groceries so they're there when I get home. So even for a 24-year-old, but what's your plan is, because what you really want to do is stop thinking as a parent, what do they have to do, but when they're going to do it. And that's the change in thinking.
That's great. I think that applies to managing the homework and the schoolwork, and also managing all kinds of stuff, their room, their organization. What is your plan? And just the idea that I think putting that idea into them even very young. I mean, I think they can start using a planner. The earlier, just like with organizing their room, the earlier you get buy-in from them, the more likely it's going to be successful, and they're going to use it for life.
I mean, you know me, kid. I'm a straight shooter. I am who I am and say how I do things. But people ask my son. So I have two children. I have a 28-year-old and a 24-year-old. But you know, Order Out of Chaos started because of Eli and all that. He will say hands down that the number one thing that he learned from his mother is using a planner. And to this day, he still says, he still uses a paper planner. He said, I don't know life without it. It's just like seeing everything in one place calms me down. And I think right now kids are just overwhelmed, overloaded. I'm going to keep using all those words, over. So, you know, we get asked a lot, like, how do you get buy-in? And that is exactly how we do get buy-in, is when we work with students. If a student comes to us and says, no, I really need to use my Google Calendar, I really need to use my Apple Calendar, I'm like, that's fine. But every one of us, you still need a paper planner, because that's how we teach time. And we'll ask these questions. We'll say, okay, well, show us how are you going to see that?
Yeah.
What else is going to get in your way? And what we find is when we ask these questions that are not nagging, we get a lot of blank stares. So it's kind of how we lead into getting buy-in. It's not like, okay, you have to. Because here's what I'm going to say too, and I hope this is okay. We get parents all the time who say, I want my student to write in a planner. I want my student to write in a planner. That's not the goal. That's the strategy. The goal is for your students to be able to see their time and tasks married together. So, and writing in a planner is 2 steps. And I don't know if we always think of it that way. It's writing and in a planner. So sometimes we actually have to start with just the writing. So I've had kids writing on paper towels. I've had kids writing on, oh yeah, that's my favorite story. I've had kids writing on Post-its, just to get them first into the act of writing, then taking that and moving into a planner. So that's, again, like when parents go, but I want them to write in a planner. I'm like, let's figure out, what does that really mean? I think what you're really saying is, I want them to be able to see their time, or I want them to be able to marry their time and tasks. Is there a way we can ease your child into that first? And then with kids, we say, show me on your Google, when are you going to have time? What else is going to get in your way? And when they can't answer that, it's time. And then we'll go, well, let's try this. And the other thing we say point blank, using a paper planner is faster. It is faster than any kind of digital tool. So the same thing, like with kids respond to food and money, they respond to time.
Yeah. So and I actually frankly think from work I've done with, because I have some younger people that I've helped organize, you know, teenagers and people in their early 20s, and they're on digital overload. Like, they don't even check email anymore. If the text comes and they get that ping, they'll check it. Otherwise, if they miss it, it's gone. They don't check, you know, they don't want to be checking the calendar. It's just digital information overload. Yeah. And I think switching it up and like getting them to use paper, that's something, it's so different from so much how the other information is coming into their life, that it stands out.
It's 100% right, what you're saying. And what they'll also say to add on to that is that the digital, as it's sitting right here, is distracting.
Yes. So
I actually don't, I am true to who I am. I mean, I'm a paper planner girl. I don't use, the only thing I use is for reminders. I don't schedule any, but what they say is when they open their phones or even their computers to put something in, what ends up happening is they go like, you know, they end up in the abyss and they forget why they went on there in the first place.
Absolutely.
So most of my students, believe it or not, say what they find about a planner is actually very calming.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
because that's the only thing they're looking at. It's calming. They only see it, and it takes less time. And the less time thing is a massive, massive tool for buy-in. And I
Yep.
literally will time them. I know that sounds crazy, but I will. I'll say, okay, I'm going to time you to open up a planner and write this in it. And now I want you to do the same either on your phone or computer, and let's compare. And literally the planner wins hands down.
All right. So those people who want like statistics, you've done the studies. It takes less time. Now, how about we pivot for a minute and wrap things up? But how would so I don't have classes, but I've got lots of different things in my life.
Sure.
And how would you suggest? But also, my day doesn't like I don't have a set schedule that starts and ends at 2. How would I hack this for a grown-up's day?
Hold that thought. So
Yeah.
what I would do is 2 things. I would take the smaller planner because they're smaller. So I would use the smaller planner. Oh, look, I have the same one you do, right? So
this is the nice colors.
So, okay. So what a quick fun fact. Everyone on my team gets to pick a color way they want. This was mine, and it's called Purple Rain. We did movie titles this year.
Cute.
So you have Purple Rain. So
and also, just so people know, like this is a sturdy plastic, and this is also plastic, which is better than metal for the spine because it's not going to cut things in your bag. It's not going to get snagged.
No, this is vinyl actually. So the
vinyl, okay,
is as heavy duty vinyl as you can make. I'm being honest. We use the top of the line because they get abused.
Yeah.
So cardstock, major like heavy duty plastic, and this is actually vinyl. So it's
going to last the year.
Totally going to last the year. When we first made our planners, people said 10 years ago, we love them, but the materials aren't holding up, and we revamped everything. But let me show you.
I see the small one. I didn't even notice this.
Yes, it's all.
That's why the small one.
Yes. So that's how you would do it. So it starts at, I got to put my glasses on. It starts at 8 a.m. and goes to 9. But believe it or not, we even have, so you have all day planning right there.
Yeah, and if you have like super early things, well, I would just write it on the right above.
We couldn't.
Okay.
We can't make one for everybody, so we had to kind of go to the middle ground. So that's how you do it. 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then instead of where it says classes, you can just do, so like the people on my team, they do, this one might be family, or somebody said they do one for each one of their kids.
Yeah.
One has,
that makes sense.
Has personal kids. They do a volunteer thing. One is work. It could be whatever you want. Does not have to be classes.
Yeah, and you can think outside the box of the different areas of your life. What are all the different things of to-dos?
Yeah.
Like maybe there are personal to-dos, like working out and things like that, or self-care, and then there's like grocery shopping, which I wouldn't necessarily say is in the same category, or cleaning the house.
If you have appointments, you get in going to the doctor, the haircut, or you can write things that you need to bring. So for example, if you have a doctor.
Oh, that's smart. Right, what you need to bring.
So if we do, let's say, you have a 10 a.m. doctor's appointment, but you need to bring some records or something, you could literally put it in your personal so you remember. But it's so interesting because they all use it differently, but you can do it for work, personal, your kids, whatever it is, vacation even. You could just do it for whatever it is you are working on. The small one is adaptable for the adults. The large one.
That's great. Okay, so the small one is for adaptable to anybody.
Yeah.
And the other thing is it does go the full year. I mean, it's sort of based on the school year is how it's divided up, but it has all the days of the year. And I love the other, other stuff like the notes pages and things. You can just really work stuff out.
Yeah, there's even a full month. Like I like to see my month sometimes, so you can do a month. There's a notes section, which I love. I put like my to-dos on there. And the only thing is I want to be mindful to everyone that they are academic planners, so they do start on July 1. But what I find is a lot of our parents of our students actually say, so here's another fun fact. My calendar, I'm on an academic calendar. I don't use what's the word I'm looking for? A yearly calendar. Because I
Yeah.
don't think like a year, I think like a school year.
I think a lot of us feel that way. I always feel like, you know, September is like another January, so August, September, because most of us have grown up. You know, all our childhoods we were on the academic calendar. My husband's a professor, so our family is still on an
Oh,
academic calendar. It makes a lot of sense for me. And I think it's easier not to switch. Sometimes that January 1st, right after the holidays, it's hard to try to switch everything right then.
100%.
Summer's
Listen,
easier.
my business is on a, like we run, Order Out of Chaos is run on an academic year. So
Of course.
we follow the academic year, not the calendar year. So we all use, it's funny, we just all use academic planners.
Yeah.
So ours actually start on July 1 and end on, which really is to me perfect because July is like the summer, you can ease into it. And a lot of kids go back to
Exactly.
school beginning of August.
Yes, that's right. That's
So,
right. Depending on where you are in the country.
or
Yeah.
where you are in the country. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. Thank you. I feel like yeah, got a lot of good ideas, good tips and lessons. I hope people got a lot out of it.
Oh, I think
And yeah, and I hope that people will head over to my website, katebosch.org, and resources page has all of it, has my personal affiliate link, and you can find so much more. I always recommend your videos and everything too. I think study skills, and well, I mean, it's just great. It's great information for kids. It's sometimes easier for kids when the information doesn't come from mom or dad, when it comes from a, you know, like an expert, and then they could even be the same information that mom and dad might give, but it's better coming from an outside source.
That's another whole, like,
that's a whole other discussion topic, right?
When it's not coming from mom and dad.
Exactly. All right.
Thank
you so much.
Bye,
Take care.
everyone.
Bye.